Hi there, it's Stephanie. This screener is to demonstrate a module that I recently finished for a client, British Columbia, the province in Canada. And the idea here, you can see the home screen. I'm just actually, as I'm going to talk here, I'm just going to click the play button so that this module continues on as I'm talking. It's the module itself was related to identity information management, which is essentially identity information that's put onto a chip-based card, kind of like a Visa card, I guess. And so your health information is sitting on this card, and when you go to a health clinic like what you're seeing here, you would just swipe your card, and then the person at the health clinic would have your records and be able to kind of know where you're at and who you are and confirm your identity. So that's just kind of one example of the use of this type of technology, and which is the topic of the module. So what I wanted to show you in the screener, though, is not the topic of the module, more some of the techniques that I use. First off, you can see that the skin is different. The skin itself is a skin that I purchased from eLearning Brothers. It's one of their kind of canned skins. It works really well for this project. It's nice, it's slick, it looks a little different than what you would normally produce with Articulate Proper. And here you can see the screen is a normal PowerPoint animation. I've put the character David inside of a workflow that is sitting behind swiping of a card. So when he swipes his chip-based card, there's some stuff that goes on behind the scenes, and the best way to describe that is to be able to actually put him in that workflow and have that workflow going on around him so that people can understand the process itself. In the upper right hand corner there's a little post-it. If I click on Identity 101, it's going to take me to a section that's available throughout the module that says, well, actually, I don't really know what identity management is, so can you tell me what that is? And what's really cool here is I was able to leverage some assets from the Articulate community. Tom Kuhlman's graphics, as you can see here, his hand-drawn elements have been leveraged quite heavily, along with David Anderson's techniques for this kind of rough paper look on identity information management and GIS information. So one of the things I wanted to point out is that the community contributes these elements, and by themselves, you know, they're element collections, but when you start to actually apply them to a real project like what you're seeing here, not only does it save me time as somebody who produces this stuff, but it also ups the production value. You know, could I draw a little character the way Tom could? Probably not. And it's free. So it's invaluable for people who develop like I do, e-learning programs like this. So let me just click go back. It's going to take me back to that beginning. I'm going to click on David again. And this time I'm just going to skip ahead and kind of go through this process quite quickly because we've already talked about this fellow here. When he finishes this, he's at the medical center. He leaves the medical center, and you can see that really physically he leaves. He pops over town to his apartment building, and there he actually logs into his computer and accesses his healthcare record online remotely and to figure out and determine the results. He uses his little swipe card to do that, and then he can see the results of whatever his test was that he had done earlier. So being able to integrate Google Earth into an e-learning project like this really is powerful, because it actually takes a character from one location to another, and David isn't the only character. So this is abbreviated for the screener, but there was lots of movement around with Google Earth. Now let me just pop over to the summary and I can kind of show you a little bit more about that. So it summarizes both of these characters have gone to a couple different places in town, done a couple different things. It summarizes what they learned using post-its and other techniques here. And then it leaves the town. So now we're leaving where we've popped around town, and then we're going way outside of town to say that the stuff that happened to these guys in this little town actually applies globally to everyone. And the method and the approach is a standard method and approach, not just in Canada, not just in this little town, but actually all over the world. So Google Earth is a great technique to be able to visualize that kind of concept. And that's about it. So if you have Google Earth Pro, you can record, convert to MP4, and incorporate that into your e-learning.